Wondery Plus subscribers can listen to Crime and Sports early and ad-free right now. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts.
Rakuten is the smartest way to save money when you shop because you earn cash back at over 3,500 stores. Fashion, beauty, electronics, home essentials, travel, dining, concert tickets, and more. Your favorite stores like Lowe's, Levi's, and Nike pay Rakuten to send them shoppers. And Rakuten then passes on a part of that payment to its members as cash back. You're already shopping at your favorite stores. Why not save while you're doing it? It's a no-brainer. Membership is free and easy to sign up. Get the Rakuten app now and join the 17 million members who are already saving. Cashback rates change daily. See Rakuten.com for details. That's Rakuten. Your cashback really adds up.
Your weekly dose of romance and drama has arrived. Season 29 of The Bachelor is here, and Grant Ellis, certified hottie and former day trader, is trading his day job on Wall Street for a second chance at everlasting love. New episodes drop every Monday at 8/7 Central, bringing you fresh twists in Grant's journey to find his soulmate. This self-proclaimed mama's boy is all grown up and ready to invest his heart. Will his playful charm win over the house full of hopefuls, or will the competition prove too intense? From heartfelt moments to adrenaline-pumping dates, each week brings new surprises in the mansion. Will Grant find his perfect match or end up with a broken heart? Tune in every Monday at 8/7 Central on ABC and stream on Hulu for new episodes of The Bachelor.
Everybody, and welcome back to Crime and Sports.
Yay!
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us today on part 3 of Fast Eddie Johnson.
The trilogy.
Fast Eddie took 3 weeks. He's not very fast when it comes to getting through him on episodes, but he's done a lot of garbage, and today we get to the penultimate awful shit crime. And then some funny lawsuits also that we didn't get to the first time. There's there's some funny shit here. I can't wait to do this. So this is going to be a lot of fun. We'll get to all that. Before we do, though, shutupandgivememurder.com is the site to go to get any information and merch and all that stuff. Tickets for live shows for Small Town Murder. Anything you could want, it's all there. Any information, all that good stuff. Also, because you should be listening to Small Town Murder if you're not. And of course, your stupid opinions you should listen to as well.
Boy.
Holy shit, is it funny. So check those shows out, hang out with us, and if that's not enough for you,
you need more?
More. This is Patreon episodes, Crime and Sports, Small Town Murder, Small Town Murder Express, Your Stupid Opinions, and Patreon.
You bet.
Come get it. Get it while it's hot. Patreon.com/crime in sports. Get yourself a big heaping helping of bonus material. Anybody $5 a month or above, that you can't even buy a heaping helping for $5. No, but you
get a little bit of a helping.
A little bit of a helping, but for $5 you can get a heaping helping of bonus material for all of our shows. Anybody the $5 or above, you get the whole back catalog of bonus stuff. New ones every other week. One Crime and Sports, one Small Town Murder, and you get all of it.
Every bit, yeah.
Everything included. This week is no different. Every other week you get new ones. This week for Crime in Sports.
Yeah.
What fun stuff. We're going to talk about fireworks accidents because it's the 4th of July coming up. So that'll be a lot of fun. Let's find out about that. We have our own fireworks accident stories.
I sure do.
Jimmy's missing a piece of himself because of it. So we'll talk about which piece and what happened. And then for Small Town Murder, we're going to have...
What holiday was it for?
Another very fun one. We're going to talk about the real Tombstone.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to get into the Wyatt Earps and the Cowboys and... You know, what the movie didn't tell you. Like, the Earps were kind of dicks, and the Cowboys were even bigger scumbags than you could have thought they were.
Oh, yeah.
And also, the endings isn't quite what happened to everybody, and we'll get into all that stuff. So that's
Tom Mix did web.
Yes. Yeah. That is patreon.com/crime in sports. And you get a shout out at the end of the show, too. Jimmy's going to mispronounce your name. You
got it covered.
You can write it down. You can spell it phonetically. Doesn't matter. It'll get fucked up, and that's normal because
like a man's name, a woman's name.
It's really hard to just be. It's hard to be doing. Oh, there's a Polish name, then this Italian name. It's a lot to mix in together. So it's tough to do. So that said, I think it's time to talk about one of the biggest scumbags of all time.
Let's do it.
I mean, the Sergio Mitres of the world might have displaced Fast Eddie as and we still haven't decided. I don't think when we do these redos, I don't think they're eligible for scummies. In the new year because they were already up for a scummy. So I feel like if you re-release a movie, you can't. It's not up for an Oscar. You know what I mean?
Is it not?
I don't think so. I think it's only on
if
the first
you remaster. If it's the same script.
I don't think you could do that. So if you remade the movie in a different movie, then it's possible. Yeah.
Remake Willy Wonka. It's always up.
That's true. So maybe we'll see how it goes. So that's it. Let's get into this here. We're going to start out in 1987. I don't know if we got to where he signed with Seattle for 87, but he signs signs with Seattle. He was on Seattle for 86, 87, and then that's when he signed the contract for the rest of the season, and I think that's where we left off here.
That's where we left him, yeah.
The Seattle extends his contract, and the coach, Bernie Bickerstaff, said he's going to be a good boost to the offense for the playoffs.
Sure.
He's a quick, he's Fast Eddie, so you can inject him in there in a, and he's going to bring energy to the table, like Vinny Johnson, Vinny the Microwave Johnson, a guy like that. Yeah, quick off the bench guy. And in the first quarter of Game 2 of the Western Conference Finals, he came off the bench to score 10 points out of that.
Wow.
So, and it got him an instant offensive boost, but they lost the game, so it doesn't matter.
Sure.
He thinks that he says, though, during the Game 3, before the game, Eddie said he would like to think that his performance the night before is just a announcing my return to being Eddie Johnson and, being a prominent member of the NBA. He said, quote, that felt good. The thing about it is that the Lakers play an aggressive man-on-man defense, and I felt I could penetrate and make them leave their guys and come after me. Yeah. You make them penetrate rather than Eddie doing the penetrating, which is his problem here. He said it worked, but it was just us making adjustments to the way they were playing. Now they will adjust, and we'll have to do something else. Okay. And he said this year, after having to play for the Tampa Bay Thrillers of the CBA, he said this year has been my fantasy ride.
Oh, really?
It's his fantasy ride, yeah. He said being in Cleveland was a waste, and he just joined Tampa because he needed to be out there and be visible to people. He said, I knew I was going to have to work my way back into the league. I went about it the right way, in a professional manner. I knew someone would notice if I worked hard at my craft.
It's true, yeah.
And they did, yeah. Plus, they're, looking for people. They said, and Bickerstaff, the coach, said, you're not going to hear this very often about Eddie Johnson. So, you can write this down and frame it. Quote, Eddie had been a positive influence on and off the court for our younger guards.
Oh.
You're letting this guy around,
showing the young guys how it's done.
No, you keep him in like one of those cages, right? You can like a North Korean prison camp cage, like just as big enough for a man. You keep him in there until he's ready to be let out and play. Don't let him around your younger guards.
No,
he's just going to give him coke. Yeah, he's going to go.
At least tell him how it's done.
You know how to buy a house, guys? You give him $1,000, and then you just move in. That's how it works. Fuck it.
Then it's yours.
Then it's just your house. So he was doing well. He said, those first few games I was just playing on adrenaline. That's what Eddie said. But they said, Bickerstaff said, problems? No, he's been just the opposite of problems.
Really?
Yeah, that's right. So that's their – wow, that's wild. I don't know – why you would say this guy is going to be a good influence.
No problems.
On your other guards. But Bickerstaff said, Eddie really helped us against the Lakers the other night. But on the bench, or with the bench we've got, production will decide how many minutes each player gets in each game. There's no time to waste in the playoffs. If you're producing, you stay in. If not, you come out.
Okay.
Eddie said, physically, I've worked my way into good shape, but I leave the minutes up to Bernie because he knows what needs to be done. And he said, listen, Bernie cares about his players. We all worry about ourselves, but when you've got someone like Bernie caring for you, it really makes the difference. I figure if you can't play for Bernie, you can't play for anyone.
Very, very nice approach to let the coach coach. That's nice.
Yeah, I hesitate to say it, but is he good now?
Has he finally figured out the right way to do things?
It seems like he's good now. The coach is saying he's good now.
Yeah.
He is fucking set and ready to go here. So April 10th, 1987, he says he's doing well and he's off drugs.
Okay, all done.
This is what we need. He's done. He said, this is my favorite line ever. Quote, cocaine is a big lie.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. To me, cocaine is one of the few truths in the world.
Yeah, a lot of addicts will tell you that it is the truth.
It's the truth.
Sure. Yeah.
If you do cocaine, you will get high. That's a truth.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Cocaine isn't telling you it's going to be good for you. It's not telling you it's going to make you make good life decisions. It's just its job is to get you high, and it does it.
What did it tell you, Eddie?
Did it speak to you? Picture him picking up a little bag and putting it next to his ear, and someone's talking. He goes, "Shh, shut up." Trying to hear what this cocaine has to say.
It's telling me things.
He said, when you take cocaine, everything you think is real is not really real. Yeah, that's drugs in general, usually.
Yeah, man. It's altering your brain.
Wait till you take some acid. You'll be like, wow.
Don't you dare try.
Makes me see shit that isn't even there. Yeah. Never mind.
Maybe wade the waters of mushrooms first.
Oh, shit. Oh, my God. So, yeah, they're talking about all of this stuff. And he said, since I've been clean, I love when he's like, that's all in the past now.
Now I can pontificate.
Yeah, now I can think about, it's like a life, it's like when you're done with war, you know what I mean? Yeah. You come home and you're like, back when I was in the war, you know, like it's all over now. It's all ceasefire now. It's all done. But
crawling through the muck.
Since I've been clean out of the rice paddies, he said, I found out there's so much out there that you can enjoy. Weird.
Oh.
I thought the world was just basketball and cocaine. I didn't realize that there was another gear you could hit here.
Yeah.
He said all kids should stay away from drugs. That's
terrific. Yeah.
That is quite the statement there, Eddie. That's
well done, Reagan.
In depth, yeah. Also, duh is the other thing. Thanks for the obvious things.
I think children should do heroin.
Yeah, it's like all children should be given needles and see which ones are good at it. So see if they can hold their high. He said there's no goodness in them, in drugs. No goodness, whatever that means. Or children, we don't know. He said, anybody tells you different, they're liars. So now they're liars. Okay. Cocaine's a liar.
Yep.
The only one's honest here is Eddie.
Not a lot of people telling the truth around here.
Not at all. Bernie Bickerstaff said it's not really a gamble when you're talking about somebody's life and you're giving him an opportunity. It's all in Eddie's hands, and so far he's done an excellent job for us. And Eddie said, yeah, because he said he has educated himself about his past problems, and now he knows the NBA is a privilege that he needs to take one day at a time.
Oh, it's not a guarantee.
It's not a guarantee. It's not the world doesn't owe you being in the NBA. Yeah, you know what I mean? So he said, now I know. You got to earn. He said, quote, I realize the consequences. You know what? Let's do it in their own words here. I think that's appropriate. Okay. Yeah. In their own words, quote, I realize the consequences. I'm aware of what I'm dealing with more now than ever before. It's just something I have to deal with, and I think I'm dealing with it pretty well. I haven't had any problems, but the thing is, I just have to be aware of it all this time.
Right. Somebody doesn't want to go back to making $8,000 a year playing for Tampa.
He's like, man, there was no pussy down there. Like, I mean, when you're done with the game, the girls don't run up to you. They don't. In the NBA, girls give you Coke. Down there, if you want to get laid, you got to have Coke. This is a different dynamic I'm not used to.
It's crazy. Even in the arena, all dudes.
It's all dudes, man. And they don't even want to fuck you. It's weird.
No.
Not
real
the same.
Sausage fest at these games.
Fucked up, man. He said, I think we handled, this is Bernie Bickerstaff, the coach, I think we handled it the right way. We talked to our players before we signed him, and they accepted him. So he was coming into a situation where he was wanted. Yeah. That's it. That's important here. And Eddie finally says the CBA, when he played for the Thrillers, which is just a funny name for a team that nobody watches.
Right.
He said, the CBA was one way for me to stay in shape and showcase my talents. But it was really a humbling experience. I'd pick up a newspaper and see everybody I used to play with working when I wasn't.
Doing great.
Doing great. Making money. You're like, that guy got laid after that game. Fuck.
Yeah. How many Dominique on the cover of Jam magazine.
No shit, man. So, this year for the Sonics overall in 86-87, 9 points a game. He's a bench guy, 21 minutes a game now. So
Yeah.
Not the same. He's not getting the same kind of minutes.
But he's getting money still.
He's
nice.
still getting paid. Yeah, he's getting paid, and he's not like a castaway anymore. He's not on this island by himself. And they said that he's already been invited back to camp again. And they're looking at him as a backup point guard behind Nate McMillan, possibly.
Oh.
So, yeah, they said that's interesting. But they did draft a guy in the 3rd round, Tommy Amaker, who they said is expected to battle Johnson for the backup job here.
He's going to lose to Amaker?
Yes. So that is a big fluff piece on him saying how right now is great and the future looks way brighter even. Like it's going to be so great. And then he fails to follow through on mandatory counseling. That's part of his deal to be in the NBA, mandatory drug counseling.
Yeah.
No, he's supposed to show up and do these meetings, basically.
Yeah. Those are tough. Reminding you of how much of a piece of shit you are.
Yeah.
That's no good.
That's no good at all. It's just counseling. It's probably not one-on-one. It's probably just you got to go to AA or you got to go to NA or whatever the fuck it is. But he doesn't do it, and that's part of the deal. So the NBA, in July of 87, suspends Eddie Johnson.
Oh.
And that's it. Now he fucked up. That's it.
Yeah.
Now it's all over with because you can't fucking...
Amaker. We got Amaker.
We got Amaker. Yeah, they're not... He had to be perfect from now on.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. No speeding tickets, no talking out of turn, none of this shit. He was like...
You're not a starter.
On the thinnest of ice. Right. And then he goes and does this, and they're like, well, we don't need that shit. Goodbye. Fuck off. And that's it for him. So that's going to be his career. Career averages here, 15.1 points a game. Not bad. 2.3 rebounds and 5.1 assists.
Missed a meeting.
All because he missed a meeting. I mean, well, it was... The funnel was thinner. The funnel was wide before he could miss meetings. He could fucking come late, high on coke. It was fine. Now you miss one meeting, you're out. Fuck off.
It wasn't because he missed a meeting, but, I mean, that was a straw. You know what I mean?
It turns out that's what came out publicly, that he didn't go to a counseling session, but it turns out he was arrested for coke again. That's why.
Oh, God.
Which is why he didn't show up for the meeting, which is why he was suspended. Yeah. What are you going to do? Show up and go, just got out of jail?
Yeah.
For more coke?
I just got coke, guys.
Fuck, man. I only want coke. So... October 16th, 1987, here they're talking about he is arrested again.
Oh, my God.
And being held at the Fulton County Jail on several charges.
Florida.
Yes. No, Fulton County is Atlanta. That's where Atlanta is.
Is it?
Yeah, because Fulton County Stadium was where the Braves used to play.
Is that Fulton County?
Yeah. That was the stadium they played in, was Fulton County Stadium before they built Ted Turner Field or
I'm
whatever
sure
the
there's
fuck
another
it is
Fulton,
now.
but that's probably
I'm sure.
Atlanta.
He's in Atlanta because that's, I guess he made his home base there when he was with the Hawks for those years. And so he's arrested for passing a bad check.
Uh-oh.
He's out of the league for like 3 months. He's already got no money.
Is he writing checks for coke?
I don't know if you can. I don't know if. And then the coke dealer was like, I already gave him an 8-ball. Like, I can't. No, he'd snorted it all up. I have no recourse here. I got to take him to court. Also, aggravated assault and theft of services as well.
What did he do?
Probably with the bad check. That's probably in there. Someone said, this check is bad, and then he punched him and took what he had anyway, it sounds like. If I have to put together a scenario from the charges, like that joke I used to do about people's... It's the same fucking thing.
I feel like maybe it was like a cab ride. Tried to write a check for it, and then they wouldn't take a check, so they punched him and
so he punched
threw the check at him and ran off.
Also, simple battery, and here's the cherry on top, abandonment of a minor child.
What?
So he's in a cab. He writes a check. They say, this isn't any good. And then he punches the cab driver and runs away and leaves his kid in the car. That's what it sounds like to me at this point.
And says, then take the child.
Take this child as collateral. So that's not great. That doesn't look good.
No, that's so bad.
And it's right before the start of the NBA season, too. So if he wasn't ever coming back before, now he's definitely never fucking coming back again. Yeah. So he was transported to Lake County, Florida from Atlanta on drug charges. I guess his drug charges in Florida were more. Authorities in Atlanta served him with a warrant charging him with the sale of cocaine and possession of cocaine with intent to sell in Florida.
Oh, no.
That's worse now. This is way worse than punching a cab driver. Bail was set at $40,000, and he can't afford it.
No,
obviously. He's
he doesn't have that.
passing bad checks.
His checks are bad.
He's like, can I write a check for that? No? Fuck. God damn it. Do you take 8-year-olds? Can I just leave you with a child?
I've got children.
One's named after me. What do you say? So he is moved there. Now by December, all the articles about how it's all going down the drain. It's all over. 6 months ago, he was the greatest thing since sliced bread. And success story and fluff pieces left and right.
And Eddie's done this a lot of like on the train, and then it's ugly in 6 months, like real ugly.
It gets so fucking bad. It's Orlando Sentinel too, like home area. And by the way,
dealing drugs.
I love the first fucking sentence of this. It says, Wearsdale native Eddie Johnson Jr. His dad's like, hey, come on. When he's in the NBA, he was never Eddie Johnson Jr.
Right.
It never said Eddie Johnson Jr. drops 25 on the Nets. That never was a fucking thing that was said. Now he's a complete fuck up, not even a pro ball player anymore. Now he's junior. Thanks a lot, guys. Now he's a fucking
drafted
junior.
A couple rounds after Tree Rollins. It's just Eddie Johnson. Now it's junior?
Now it's junior. Great. So they're saying in this article, counselors are pleading with him to get help for reported drug, alcohol, and mental health problems. Yeah. And family and friends, quote, have tearfully waited up at night, praying that Fast Eddie would somehow safely steer himself home.
Oh, no.
Holy fuck, he's a disaster. They said, long fascinated by the powerful euphoria illicit drugs can bring, Johnson figuratively has had his finger poised on a hair-trigger self-destruct button for more than a decade. Wow. An admitted cocaine addict who began experimenting with the drug as a student at Auburn, Johnson has slammed into a dead end. His place of residence these days is a gray, spiritless cell at Lake County Jail. Jesus Christ. He, by the way, is arrested here for selling the sale of coke, $20 worth of crack to undercover cops. That's what he did.
$20.
$20. So he's selling crack, though. That's what that says. Enough to where he sold it to virtual strangers. If they're agents, he doesn't know that much about them. So
he doesn't know anything about these people.
It's not like he, split a bag with his friend or something and they charged him with sales. This is he's selling undercovers.
Yeah.
He could be sentenced to as much as 18 months in prison. Okay. And this article says long enough to force him to miss another NBA season. I think we can pretty much put the NBA on the shelf at this point. Yeah, he's been getting arrested constantly since he hasn't played last time. Yeah, not good at all. So he's a fucking mess. They say now his pace, once as frenetic off the court as on it, is more deliberate, having been throttled by the leg irons he must wear when greeting a visitor at the jail.
Oh, no.
Not too fast with leg irons. Yeah. They said that he insists he's been clean and steadfastly maintains his innocence. Mm-hmm. So he's arrested for coke-related shit like 3 times in 5 months, and that's all bullshit.
Yeah. And selling to undercover agents. I'm innocent.
Totally. Well, he says not only is he innocent of the July, this is for July 29th is when this happened, when they're charging him now. Not only is he innocent, he said, I wasn't even in Central Florida on that day.
Oh.
It was another, you know how many Eddie Johnsons there are? A shitload. Yeah. We'll find out in a little while. A lot of them. So fucking many of them.
Yeah, we do know of at least one other.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that'll come up too, by the way. So, yeah, they said this was, by the way, outside of a bar west of Leesburg, Florida.
Oh, boy.
I got $20 worth of crack to sell you outside of a bar. And this is his excuse, quote, I'm not an unintelligent guy. I would not sell cocaine. I have more going for me than to sell a $20 rock. No, you don't.
No, you don't.
Name one fucking thing you have going for you at this moment.
Yeah. Also, that's a lot of syllables to say, I'm not dumb.
I'm not dumb. I'm not an unintelligent guy.
What?
Because that sounds more intelligent than to say, I'm not stupid, man. So, and then they talk about his brother Frank here. They said Eddie was once a high roller who insisted on the finest cars, even if he just test drove them and drove off.
Even if he just takes them home.
Jesus. And the most expensive restaurants. Though he bristles at suggestions that he's broke, how could he not be broke?
Yeah.
How could
do you
not
have
be?
money at all?
You
Yeah.
didn't make $30 million. How are you going to have any fucking money?
You can't afford bail.
Well, they said, even though he says he's not broke, he can't afford the $4,000 he needs to pay a bail bondsman to get out from under his $40,000 bail.
Right.
So if you sit in jail in lieu of $4,000, you don't have $4,000.
You don't have money.
Because guess what
You're
do?
broke.
If you had $4,000, you'd fucking pay that bail.
He'd get the fuck out of jail.
Every fucking time. They'll do anything. So he, before his arrest, by the way, he had just separated from his wife, who, by the way, was born in Italy.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, she said, I've had enough of you. And that was that. Oh, man, she probably tried to cut him. I swear to God, that's rough. So
That's a good gal to get with that spaghetti sucker of hers.
Yeah, as we know.
That's a good one.
So at the Lake County Jail here, they're talking about he sits behind a heavy wire screen and bars that are clearly visible from the street. He awaits a trial date that may be set when he's arraigned Wednesday. It is his decision, he says, not to post bail. He could post the bail anytime he wants.
I'm teaching Eddie a lesson.
You know what? Sometimes Big Eddie's got to sit Little Eddie down and have a little chat with him. And that's what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
He says, quote, I am content. No, you're not. You're content in jail? You can't say I'm an upstanding citizen and I'm content in jail. That's not normal. Normal people are not content in jail. They hate
Why?
it.
If you are fucking, you're a dangerous person.
Yes. Only scumbags are content in jail. They get to jail and they go, all right, now I can relax. No.
And I can sit. I'm fine sitting. I don't care where it is. The problem is it's the people that you're around.
That's the main
and I'm
problem.
not content being around whoever has to be in jail.
And then we're all shitting in front of each other. That's
Right.
the other thing. I got to watch grown men poop. I don't need to see
basic human needs, and I've got to do those while somebody else does theirs, and they happen to be a fucking child abuser or a
anything.
rapist or anything.
Whatever the fuck he's doing. Yeah. Content.
Content.
He said, I'm content to sit here until I can get this behind me.
Okay.
Yeah, it is wild. I don't see how that's going to... How does he expect people to believe that? Let's just say that.
And how are you going to put it behind you? By doing time? You're content doing time.
That's fucking insane.
Unbelievable.
So in July, the NBA was tipped off that he'd been seen drinking beer in a bar in Atlanta.
Okay.
He's not allowed to do any of that shit.
Yeah.
So the league ordered him back to the NBA drug treatment facility in California, but he argued to his counselors that he hadn't had a relapse. He said, I just drank a beer. I didn't have any fucking relapse. I'm not on coke. So he got all pissed off and walked out. He was supposed to be there for 2 weeks, and he just walked out.
Oh.
And that's when the NBA suspended him. And so they say in this article, even if he's cleared of these charges in Lake County of selling crack to undercover officers, he can't play in the NBA again until he returns to Van Nuys and is discharged by his counselors.
Yeah, you can't be. Yeah.
So the NBA's 3 strikes plan, they said he risks being banned for life from the NBA if his alleged cocaine-related problems continue. And he says, I'm not on drugs. Why won't anybody believe me? I'm not on drugs. He says, and I quote, holy fuck, he's out of his mind. This is a long one, too. This is fun. Quote, I get tired of my name being slandered by drugs. Drugs are just out there.
Him.
Yeah, this coke is talking shit. I've heard it whisper, and now other people can hear it, too. People know cocaine talks to you. Yeah. Blow talks, man.
It lies.
It lies. It slanders people. That's the main thing. It's not the thing that fucks you up your life and all that.
Buy drugs.
It just talks a lot of shit. He said, my thing is, your thing is cocaine, Eddie. Stop right there. Yeah. That's your thing. Yeah. It's coke. He said, my thing is, every time a problem arises, it doesn't have to do with drugs. My wife and I were having some problems. I was staying with friends. The only reason I was staying with friends is because I didn't want to have any confrontations with my wife. To them, meaning his drug counselors, that behavior was irrational. But who's to say what's rational? Well, if you want to play in the NBA, David
Sober,
Stern.
sane, and a commissioner.
Yeah, that's who tells you what's rational.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. I'm going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles,
a big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud,
sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.
A few miles from the glass spires of Midtown Atlanta lies the South River Forest. In 2021 and 2022, the woods became a home to activists from all over the country who gathered to stop the nearby construction of a massive new police training facility, nicknamed Cop City.
At approximately 9 o'clock this morning, as law enforcement was moving through various sectors of the property, an individual, without warning, shot a Georgia State Patrol trooper.
This is We Came to the Forest, a story about resistance.
The abolitionist mission isn't done until every prison is empty and shut down.
Love and fellowship.
It was probably the happiest I've ever been in my life.
And the lengths we'll go to protect the things we hold closest to our hearts. Follow We Came to the Forest on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus.
He said, then there was the report about me drinking a beer. They said I'm not allowed to drink a beer because of the program. I went out there to Van Nuys, but the thing is, they wanted me to go into the program. I refused.
The thing is,
he loves saying that. But the thing is, my thing is, cocaine. So the doctors who administer the league's drug program cited confidentiality and wouldn't say anything about it. But everyone who knows Eddie Johnson's like, come on, we all know what the fuck Eddie Johnson's doing here. Give me a goddamn break here. So, yeah, he's a fucking mess. And the president of the Orlando Magic said Eddie became a time bomb every summer. Mm-hmm. That's what happened. And that's exactly what it is. Remember, Ted Turner said, if we could just find something for Eddie to do in July.
Keep him between the rails for that month.
That's all it is. So he said that everything has been a fucking mess for Eddie. And in September, he failed to appear in Atlanta for a court hearing regarding a suspended license as well. Yeah. In October, he was held at the jail for passing the bad check and doing all that shit, the abandonment of a child. He was arrested for writing a bad check to the Hyatt Regency Hotel for $380.95. Then he was charged with hiring a taxi and refusing to pay. So the bad check is from there. That's from the taxi.
It is a taxi.
Refusing to pay, which then would make you have to punch a cab driver.
Yep.
Cab drivers back then, if you didn't pay them, they were going to fight you for it. That's how it works.
They're going to keep you in the car until the cops get here, and then you pay. Yeah.
Something's going to happen here. So they said authorities in Atlanta say most of the charges against him there have been dropped or otherwise resolved. Apparently, as he was about to be released, they ran a computer check against his Social Security number, and what popped up was the warrant for his arrest from Lake County for selling crack to fucking undercover agents. So they said it's, pretty easy to figure this one out. They said that drug buys today apparently are so easy to make that undercover agents will make a slew in one weekend, often secretly videotaping the transactions. And they said arrests aren't made for weeks and months after they gather all the evidence.
Takes a little bit,
figure out who they're writing warrants for and shit like that.
We got to set the case up, and then we'll knock it down.
Yeah, he does have a private lawyer, though.
Oh, really?
Which is surprising. He has a lawyer who's not a public defender.
Wow.
An attorney named Richard Boylston, Dick Boylston. He said that it is my understanding that this is a one-time sale and that it occurred at night. I don't know whether they videotaped the buy, but Eddie's maintaining his innocence. You just never know with these kind of buys. Anything on the street or anybody on the street can go around bragging that they're Eddie Johnson, the pro basketball player. It is possible that it could have been a case of mistaken identity. Also, people know him because he's Eddie Johnson, the basketball player, which makes him very much more easily identifiable to people. Yeah. As everyone in the bar goes, yeah, that's Fast Eddie Johnson, the basketball player.
Right. And then somebody else goes, yeah, that motherfucker cost me $3,000 when he didn't come to spread.
When he doesn't show up for games and shit.
Yeah.
Wow. The Sonics said, they're back in the mix now, the Sonics. They said there are an awful lot of people pulling for Eddie Johnson, including this organization. But when you talk about Eddie Johnson playing basketball again, you're talking about something that is light years away. Like,
what is?
Him playing basketball again. Like, first of all, he's older now, but they're saying, like, he is nowhere near being considered playing basketball. Like,
right, but what are we talking about? Light years forward or backward? Because
both.
There's no way it's happening forward. That's impossible.
Either when he's 45 or 17, but not now, I think is what they're getting at.
Yeah.
So that's how that goes. He said that, he had a chance here and not their fault that he fucked it up. Yeah. Yep. Eddie said that the thing that hurts is all the aggravation it's caused my family, my mother, and my father, and my fans. Being a public figure does not help. I understand what goes with the position. I know a lot of responsibility goes with it, and I have a responsibility to young people. Oh, boy, keep that quote for later. I have a responsibility to young people. I guess you do. I am really upset with myself and that I am in this situation, and I will do everything I can to clear my name. Yes, I know. I have always lived fast. I am Fast Eddie Johnson.
What a thing to say.
What a fucking weird thing to say. So, in all of this, steadfastly clearing his name and all this, February 27th, 1988, he pleads guilty to drug charges.
Uh-oh.
Pleads guilty to selling undercover officers cocaine, and he is ordered to perform, you, sir, may fuck off, 250 hours of community service.
Okay.
During which he has to make the high school lecture circuit in Lake County to warn students about the dangers of drugs.
Oh, the embarrassment.
Yep, and the judge said, hey, I'm not giving Eddie a break, by the way, just so everybody knows. He's being given a chance to help youngsters lead better lives.
Why?
I don't know. I think we've already had that. He's already had that chance, like a lot.
I guess they're using him as a commodity, as like, you know what I mean?
Example?
I don't know.
I guess in the 80s. Nowadays, you can pull anywhere. There's 100 athletes that have had a problem, and they can go talk to people. In the 80s, there wasn't a lot of guys who had admittedly gone through problems, I think, is probably
I don't
what it
think
was.
that you need an athlete to show how bad drugs are. Just grab any addict that lives on the street and have him tell you how bad it is.
Grab a crackhead. Yeah, that would help a lot. Like,
get an
just right off the street. But I think they're like, he fucked up an NBA career.
He didn't
like,
have to do it.
That's how bad that this shit is what they're trying to say here.
I think it's easier to fall into drugs when you've got expendable cash. You know, find a guy that has a 9-to-5 and is living paycheck to paycheck and still threw it away.
Yeah.
That poor bastard, that's the one that you're like, how did you do it?
How were you partying originally?
How did you?
An NBA player can spend 20 grand over a weekend and party and get hooked on the shit and all that, but not if you're, like with your friends and you all put in $20. How are you that into it?
How did the finance director get this deep?
What the fuck, man? Wow. So he was represented by a public defender here because his private attorney dropped off because he couldn't afford to pay him. And which is pretty fucking funny. The judge said, if you or anyone in the courtroom think the reason you're not receiving a prison sentence is because you're a professional athlete, then you're sadly mistaken. I am not a basketball fan.
No.
So if you got busted for that, they'd send you to high schools to talk about people? Probably not. I think the only reason he's getting this is literally because he's a fucking NBA player.
Yeah.
The only comment Johnson made when he asked the whole time was asking the judge about transferring the jurisdiction of his probation and community service. He said, what are the chances of me getting those transferred to Atlanta? And they said, do the high school circuit first, complete that, and then we'll talk about it here.
How's about I go on out to Atlanta?
How about I get out of here? Yeah. By the way, the bar that he sold the crack at was the Bluebird Bar at County Road 468.
Yeah.
West of Leesburg, Florida. That doesn't sound great.
That sounds shitty.
That sounds so bad. June of 88, Tree Rollins is speaking out.
Oh?
Yeah, let's talk to the tree here, see what he has to say. He said, that little white powder must be some kind of monster. Yes, it is, as we found out from a lot of people on the show.
Did Metallica hear that? And
some kind of monster.
They're like, wow, Tree's a poetic genius.
That's a great name for a documentary about watching us fall apart before your eyes. What do you say? We should do that. So it is. That's the thing. And he said, why would a professional athlete let this little powder jeopardize everything? And Rollins said, I haven't found that answer. So all I can do is try to let young people know what I've seen. He said he spends his off-season, Tree does, driving from one basketball camp to another to spread the sordid message about what he's witnessed in the NBA.
Really?
And especially Eddie Johnson. He tells them about Terry Furlow, Eddie's best friend who died. Talk about him. He talks about John Drew, who's a guy we'll do an episode about here, and another coke guy. And, of course, Eddie Johnson. He's like, Eddie's in jail. He's like, this guy was good. He's my teammate and teammate in college. We got drafted together, all this shit. Now he's in jail. And they said, does it help, these talks to kids? And Eddie said, I was taking one of the campers home this morning. That's weird. And he was asking me if I enjoyed playing basketball. I told him that I'm doing what I love doing. I told him that in order for me to make the money I'm making now, I'd have to be a top executive or the owner of one of those major companies, and I get about 3 months paid vacation. For someone to go out and jeopardize all of that is just, I really haven't found the answer. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's, as a normal person, as lay people, that's what we go. We go, holy fuck, that's the most insane, greatest opportunity in the world. And you're like, nah, I'm good. Fuck them.
Not just that. It's just like I can do this for a third of the time that I would have to work a day job and still retire with way more money than I would.
That's the fucking thing. And then I can figure out, and I can do all the coke I want after that.
Right.
But, I have to make the money first.
The problem is by the time it's over and you're done and you've made all the money and now you don't need the coke because you're comfortable.
Well, also now, I mean, the coke is, you're not living a fast lifestyle if you're sitting at home or hanging out with your family.
You're not around people that have coke now.
Yeah. You generally don't need to be out trying to get pussy till 4 a.m, I think is the main thing. I think that's the thing that fuels a lot of the beginnings of it is that.
You probably get pussy around 7:30 p.m. and then you're in bed by 8:15.
That's it. Maybe on a Sunday morning. You never know.
Yeah.
See how it goes.
She wakes you up friendly like.
Yeah, all friendly like. So Tree is looking at this like a normal person, though. Like that's how a normal person would look at his life and go, motherfucker, how do Jesus? Tree says the young players should know that not everybody wants to be your friend just for the sake of being your friend. They should be able to tell what some people are out there to see what they can get you, what they can get. If you let yourself get involved with that, that's what happens. In the limelight, we are professional athletes. Now he's fucking singing Rush songs. In the limelight, we are professional athletes. It's very, very easy to get drugs. In fact, it's easier right now to get drugs than it is to get a free meal. And all if you go to a restaurant rather than picking up the check, it's way easier for someone to come offer you drugs.
Really?
Yeah. Offer you coke. We get coke offered to us all the time. So it's got to be. And it's not the 80s. And we have said 100 times, we don't fucking do coke. And people still come up and go, you guys want some coke? No, we don't.
But, and we don't get free meals fucking anywhere.
No, we're worried about our hearts exploding.
Sometimes at the mall.
That's nice, yeah.
That's nice,
And a couple of free things, but nothing crazy, nothing that's like, all the time or anything.
No, God, no.
No, God, no. Fuck, so he says, you just can't explain it. Terry Furlow is one of the greatest guys ever. John Drew, Eddie Johnson, all those guys had so much talent, but you couldn't talk to them. I always knew when Eddie was having problems because he'd call me, and when he got the stuff, he would always shave his head. He's all jacked
That's how
up,
you know. Yeah.
and he starts shaving his head because he's bored. Mm-hmm. Yep. He said, and all because of that little white powder. Kids sometimes ask me how I know so much about drugs. They ask me how do I know that they might not be able to beat the problem. I always come back to them and tell them I've never seen anybody come back from drugs and have a normal life. Jesus, really? How many people?
Ever?
I can name 1,000 people who have done that. It's in the 80s. It was different, though. It really was. These people, they hadn't had time to do it, fuck up, recover and then live 10 years of sobriety. That didn't happen.
Yeah, the fucking up was still new at that point.
It was,
people were still keeping it between the rails in the 60s and 70s, I guess, and then the 80s happened, and it really went off the rails. And wait till the 90s, man. You're about to see Robert Downey Jr. have a real turnaround.
It happens a lot. No, Coke was once the early 80s is when the price plummeted, and that's when everybody started doing it. Yeah, then it wasn't just like for rich people and shit. Then it was everyone started doing it. He said
everybody can have a problem.
Everyone can have a Coke problem that they can't beat. Yeah. He said no matter how long they stayed in a rehab center, everybody I've seen who's had a problem with drugs has gotten right back into it. I've never seen anybody beat it.
Not one.
Tree, I think you've been around 5 people that you know of here.
I think you only know Eddie Johnson.
Fuck. So they talk about Chris Washburn, who we know about.
We talked about him too.
And he said when he came to us at the middle of the season, we tried everything as a team to get into the family and get him to hang out with us. We haven't been able to bring him in, and he's still having problems.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I would say so. So that was, they were saying during the fourth quarter timeout of a Game 7 of the Atlanta-Boston playoff series, the camera zoomed in on Chris Washburn, and there he was asleep on the bench. He was asleep. So November 23rd, 1988, Eddie is good now.
Now he's good.
He's doing great. Yep, he's, according to his brother,
Look at
Frank,
this tree.
Yeah, what do you think of that? According to Frank, his brother, says that his addiction is waned. He said he's getting therapy and doing his community service. He's not working, just getting his life together, and he's doing great.
That's good.
Yep. So August 1989, doing great. Remember this. He is at the top of everything. He's arrested. For breaking into 2 houses.
Oh, my.
And he acknowledges stealing $9,130 worth of goods to buy crack.
$9,000?
$9,000 worth of shit to buy crack is what he said.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's going to fence that for $20?
That is fucking amazing. Yeah, all that for $100 worth of crack.
Jesus.
So he is going to be charged with 2 counts of burglary, 2 counts of grand theft, and jailed on a $14,000 bond. He is obviously, this isn't good for him. He's a fucking mess. Later that year, he admits unlawfully entering a woman's home and taking her $250 VCR, which he then sold for $20 on the street to buy crack.
That is the crackiest thing.
That's the crackiest thing of all time right there, as we've talked about. Now you can be a crackhead and shit, but there's no more VCRs to steal.
No.
The crackheadiest thing you could do is steal a VCR and fucking...
and sell it for crack.
It's really a shame. I'm nostalgic for those times. I'm nostalgic.
Broke into somebody's house for a sound design, James.
For VCR times, yeah. I'm for Magnavox stealing. They stole my Toshiba.
Shit, damn it.
To sell for $20 for crack money. And VCRs were expensive back then.
Yeah, they were.
They were fucking pricey. Yeah. So September 2nd, 89 here, he charged with all this shit. And, wow, in the second burglary, it was only $900 were taken, including a VCR and a rifle.
Oh, no, you can't do that.
No, but you can sell that for some quick cash, though.
Yeah.
Quick cash. Then in 2000 now, we're going to fast forward quite a bit. The 90s, Eddie just dropped off the face of the earth.
Silence. Yeah.
He got arrested a lot, we know, but there's not anything out there. They stopped reporting on his arrests because he didn't matter anymore. Didn't fucking matter anymore.
Just another crackhead.
And it's so hard. I looked up, I mean, we did a lot on this to try to find details of some of these, and on all of like the background search websites. Strange thing, there's a shitload of Eddie Johnsons out there.
Yeah, it's a couple of very popular names.
I found people with his exact first, middle, and last name born in the same month and year as him.
Wow.
So, I mean, it's so fucking confusing when you get to that.
What is going on?
But with no arrests. So, now by that's the 89 thing. By 2000, he's still smoking crack, doing coke. He's still doing the exact, nothing has changed from 89 to 2000, mind you. In 2000, he strikes a deputy several times during a drug arrest.
Fighting him
off. Yeah. He should be so used to this by now. Eddie, hands behind your back. You have drugs. He should just immediately. Yeah. If he sees a cop on the street, he should just put his hands behind his back, just out of reflex. By now.
But he's got to be afraid by now that every arrest could be the last one that puts him away forever. You know what I mean? He doesn't know.
Yeah.
And then he's going to exacerbate it by punching? Don't do that.
Fuck no. So, well, then they got in and they were booking him. During booking, he tried to punch the cop in the nose again and missed.
And
Jesus. Missed. He didn't get him there. Then he's released from that. Yeah. Later that year, he is, and this is very sad for Fast Eddie Johnson, okay? Yeah. Shit has gone awry for his fastness. He is shoplifting at Target.
Oh, no.
Gets out of the store and is chased down by a Target security guard.
Oh, no.
No.
That man needs Target popcorn on his break, man.
And now he's known as Fast Target Security Guard. Yeah. I can now take your title of Fast since I outran you.
Well, that guy's all charged up on popcorn and icy.
I was going to say.
That's a fast motherfucker.
He's got he did it with a cherry icy in his hand, which is the more impressive part. That's what's more impressive. He was like out of the straws. He fucking was running. It's a lot of sugar. It'll get you to do that. And do you know what Eddie stole from the store?
Was it a VCR?
$98.94 worth of clothes in 2000.
Oh, boy. What, did he put 4 pairs of pants on?
That's what I mean. Yeah, he must have. Yeah, probably did that old thing.
2 pairs of something, yeah.
Or had a bag and just stuck the shit in the bag and took off. I don't know if it was
Changed
for him
his
or
shoes. I don't know.
I don't know if it was for him or
$100 outfit from fucking Target?
From Target.
Jesus.
Shit. So then some more time goes by. By 2006, July of 2006, he's charged with battery on a law enforcement officer and resisting or obstructing an officer without violence, too.
Okay.
So, not good.
No.
That's July 2006. Then, August 2006. Yeah. Now we're going to have to get into dates because it's very specific. August 6th, 2006. Okay. Yeah. He is charged with sexual battery and burglary in commission of a rape of a 25-year-old woman in an Ocala, Florida motel room.
Yikes.
Eddie, you are
broke
just
into
disgusting.
A motel?
Sexual battery and burglary. I don't know if she might have let him in and then he started beating her up and stealing her shit and raping her. Who knows? Because I didn't see like breaking and entering or any of that. Burglary that's just stealing some shit.
Just stealing, yeah.
Without, force. He just took it. So apparently that's not great at all.
This could just be a crack party.
It could have been. That's what I mean. He could have got out of control. Yeah. He's like, where's the razor? I'm trying to shave my head. Yeah. She didn't have it, so he lost his fucking mind.
Give me a Mach 3.
Give me a Mach 3 now. So that is August 6th, 2006. August 9th, 2006.
3 days later. 72 hours.
Later, yes. Okay. He is arrested for one of the worst things you could possibly do as people walking on 2 fucking legs. He's arrested for sexually assaulting an 8-year-old girl.
What?
8, not 18.
72 hours after rape.
Yeah, after rape. He's like, well, let me do this now. An 8-year-old, which of all the things we've heard from Eddie so far, usually pedophiles are usually pedophiles. Yeah. It's baked in, you know what I mean? And usually
it's not new. You don't graduate to that.
No, and even if later on they get caught for being a pedophile, you go, oh yeah, there was a few weird things he did. This and that. This has never come up before.
Oh my.
He's raped adult women. So it's very strange that all of a sudden now he's raping 8-year-olds, but this is what he did. And he is going to be held without bail for doing this. Finally, someone's going to hold him without bail. Johnson tells the Marion County judge that he wants to. This is amazing.
Oh, boy.
Okay. You're on trial for raping an 8-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
No,
I'm not.
Jimmie, you're on trial for raping an 8-year-old.
All right, let's see where this goes.
Okay. Who are you hiring as a lawyer?
I am finding every dime I have and finding the best person.
What kind of person's it going to be? It's going to be a lady, number one.
A very nice lady.
A very nice lady.
Yeah.
Soft-spoken is going to vouch for me.
Doesn't believe this either.
She's horrified that it would happen to anybody, but not my client. No, he says, I'd like to represent myself.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. I'm the only person who can get
the
me out
only
from
person
under
that can explain this is me.
Is me. And they went, we're going to go ahead and assign you a public defender because
you can't defend this.
You're just on a lot of coke right now, and you got a hubris going on that you really feel like you could do this. But once you come down, you'll know you can't. It's not good. Wow. So
maybe he just doesn't want to tell somebody what he did, and he just wants to.
I'll just do it myself. Yeah. I can lie to myself, but it's hard to lie to anybody else. He's charged with sexual battery on a child under the age of 12. That has a ring to it, doesn't it? And residential burglary for entering the apartment where the girl was staying while her mother was out.
Golly.
Now, I don't know why the mother's leaving fucking 8-year-olds at home alone either, but I doubt she thought rape was going to be the worst thing that could happen.
Well, I mean, if she's locked in the house, usually there's financial situations that make people leave kids home alone all the time. But if she's locked in the house, that's about as safe as it gets, right?
You thought worst happens, she can burn a Pop-Tart. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's the worst that's going to happen here. She's going to make a mess, but not be raped by an NBA player. I don't think that was what was.
That's not on the list of worries.
It's not on a list of worries. In this article, it says he is not to be confused with the Eddie Johnson, who's now a television analyst for the Phoenix Suns.
Yeah.
That'll come up big because the Chicago Tribune forgot to put that in there. And as a matter of fact, when this first came out, the Chicago Tribune reported it as that Eddie Johnson who's been arrested for this.
God, the poor fuck.
We'll find out. Literally, they were like, I don't know, I just saw it and put it out. I didn't check it. And they were like, what are you fucking talking about?
Why? This day one of journalism, you son of a bitch.
Fucking idiot. So the girl and her 3 brothers were staying in the apartment while their mother went out to register them for school.
Get the fuck out of here.
It's August. So she went to register. She just moved. They had moved to this apartment recently, so she's got to register them for a new school. So
and it's such a pain in the ass to take 4 kids with you. Just stay home. I'll get this handle. I'll be right back.
Yep. Apparently, the door was open. The mother didn't lock the door. One of the kids unlocked the door. Eddie Johnson just walked into the apartment uninvited and told the girl's 6-year-old brother to go ahead and lock that door behind me. So the kid locked the door. Johnson then told this little girl to go into her bedroom, where he went in there, pulled her pants off and fondled her first, and then raped her.
Good Lord.
A fucking child. And then said, don't tell anybody about this.
Okay.
Great. Thanks, Eddie.
Mum's the word, Ed.
Yeah, this is all, what the fuck, man? This is horrible. Yeah, not to tell anyone about what just happened. And then, they all went out in the living room, and then he tried to kiss her in the kitchen before he left the apartment as well.
Yikes.
You fucking
kiss? What
disgusting piece of shit.
Like it's a real legit date.
Like he just had a date with an 8-year-old that wasn't planned. He just stopped by.
Boy.
Soon as the mother got home, the girl told her exactly what happened, which, good. I'm glad that she wasn't afraid to say that. The girl's mother then went to police. Thank fuck the girl. You know what I mean? Thank fuck everyone's got their shit together enough to be like, I know this is bad that he did to me, number one, which means that it probably hasn't happened to her before, which is good. And then the mother goes, holy fuck, police is the first thing she thinks. Proper. Wow. Sometimes we get it where that doesn't happen. So
right.
The girl's mother told detectives she knew Eddie from the neighborhood, but he never had permission to be in the house. She didn't say
around the way boy. She doesn't even know him from the NBA.
She just said, I know him from the neighborhood. Didn't tell him he can stop by when my kids are home alone and hang out with them at all. He was arrested in a field near the apartment building. So he just went and hung out. A field. Wow. He told detectives, I was in the apartment with the kids, but I didn't do anything. He said that the kids were jumping on the bed.
Yeah.
While I was there. That's it. They were just jumping on the bed. And they were like, what'd you do?
In the crime scene.
Oh, yeah. Well, he knows he went in there and left fingerprints everywhere probably.
Yeah.
So
There's that. Yeah.
He knows he's got to say I was there, but I can't say, I was there and then attacked a fucking 8-year-old.
Yeah.
So he said they were just jumping on the bed the whole time I was there. So this girl doesn't know the difference between being raped and jumping on a bed, apparently. She's real dumb, this kid, is what Eddie's saying. He did tell, they said, well, did you touch this girl in a sexual manner? Did you kiss her? Did you have sex with her? He said, I kissed her on the head one time.
Oh, boy. Why would you do that?
They said, why would you do that? Exactly, is what they said. And he said that he does it to all the neighborhood children, quote, as a friendly gesture.
Oh, sir.
I'll tell you what, all crackheads within a fucking sound of my voice right now, please don't kiss my or Jimmie's children on the forehead. We beg you.
And especially not all the children that you live around.
No, but definitely stay away from mine. I'll kill you for that shit. What the fuck?
Yeah, we'll fight.
We will be going to fight for that.
I'll certainly go, what'd you do that for?
Yeah, why'd you do that? He denies entering the girl's home at all to the newspaper. When the newspaper talked to him, he said, I never went in there. But his statement to the police is
they were jumping on the bed.
Jumping on the bed, I'm kissing foreheads. That's all I'm doing here. He said that he told the newspaper that the girl's mother is a friend to whom he gives money. I give her money sometimes. That's all it is.
Okay.
Where do you get money, Eddie?
Right.
From where?
She doesn't know that I'm layawaying her children.
No, not at all. It was for later. She didn't know I was purchasing her daughter for later activities.
Yeah.
Then he says, and this is the fucking wildest shit ever, I love them kids like my own. I'm no pervert.
Okay.
I'm no pervert. I'm a loving father. I don't go over there unless her mother is there, and then I'll go to get something to eat.
Behind the closed doors of government offices and military compounds, there are hidden stories and buried secrets from the darkest corners of history. From covert experiments pushing the boundaries of science to operations so secretive they were barely whispered about. Each week, on Redacted, Declassified Mysteries, we pull back the curtain on these hidden histories. 100% true and verifiable stories that expose the shadowy underbelly of power. Consider Operation Paperclip, where former Nazi scientists were brought to America after World War II, not as prisoners, but as assets to advance U.S. intelligence during the Cold War. These aren't just old conspiracy theories. They're thoroughly investigated accounts that reveal the uncomfortable truths still shaping our world today. The stories are real. The secrets are shocking. Follow Redacted, Declassified Mysteries on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Redacted early and ad-free right now on Wondery Plus.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this white Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. We're going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles.
A big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud.
Sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.
He was hip-hop's biggest mogul, the man who redefined fame, fortune, and the music industry.
The first male rapper to be honored on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Sean Diddy Combs.
Diddy built an empire and lived a life most people only dream about.
Everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up.
But just as quickly as his empire rose, it came crashing down.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution.
I was up. I hit rock bottom, but I made no excuses. I'm disgusted. I'm so sorry.
Until you're wearing an orange jumpsuit, it's not real. Now it's real.
From his meteoric rise to his shocking fall from grace, from law and crime, this is the rise and fall of Diddy. Listen to the rise and fall of Diddy exclusively with Wondery Plus.
Wow. Yeah, I'll go to get something to eat.
Okay.
Since 1989, his convictions are burglary, battery, robbery, marijuana possession, possession of drug paraphernalia, resisting arrest, battery of law enforcement, resisting and obstructing officers with and without violence.
This is all 6 years.
This is in this period.
My.
He's a fucking mess. So now, August 10th, 2006, he's still in jail, and he's denied bail, and they do not let him represent himself, which is nice.
You can't do it, man.
Can't do it. And then he's also got the other sexual assault charges.
Right. This is just the tip of the iceberg, babe. There's so much.
Yeah. So by August 11th, this is 3 days after this attack took place.
Yeah.
There's an article saying the other Eddie Johnson wants his reputation back.
Will the real Eddie Johnson please stand up?
Oh, my fucking God.
He wants his dignity, his reputation. He wants this guy to just never exist.
And they have a picture of the two of them next to each other here, which doesn't help Eddie. That's not helping, saying, here's the two of them next to each other.
Don't put my face in the paper.
Now it looks like we're in cahoots now. You put us our pictures a quarter inch apart.
Now it looks like we tag teamed an 8-year-old. You fucking jerks.
Eiffel Towered a child now, this looks like. So, and this is, the article says, quote, Eddie Johnson, good Eddie Johnson, there's good Eddie and bad Eddie, good Eddie Johnson, is still getting over what he calls the worst day of his life. He did nothing to anybody, by the way. It gets worse because I didn't know his background. He scratched his way out of the Cabrini Green housing project in Chicago. This poor bastard. Fashioned a long and successful NBA career, turned that into an opportunity on TV, and built a reputation as an all-around good guy who loves to work with kids. Oh, this poor bastard.
Shit.
Not
now he doesn't.
His worst scrape with the law involved a couple of traffic tickets. Now he's dealing with a case of mistaken identity that shocked him and his friends, and he fears may have permanently sullied his reputation.
Probably, yeah.
They said, well, how does it feel? And he said, devastating, hard to explain.
Mm-hmm.
He said Eddie Johnson was mistaken in some media reports, including in his home fucking town of Chicago, for another Eddie Johnson.
Didn't Skip Bayless do this?
I don't know if he was one of the ones who did it. No, he did a different mistake.
Oh, okay.
The Eddie Johnson who had nothing to do with that accusation is a former Illinois star who went on to a 17-year career, including a 3-year stay with the Seattle Supersonics. That's the problem.
The same team.
And they came in the league 3 years apart.
God damn it.
He was drafted in 81, and Fast Eddie was drafted in 78 or whatever.
Fuck.
They both played for the Sonics. That's fucking rough. They said, interestingly, Eddie Johnson from Florida also played with the Sonics. When some media reports about the alleged crime included the Illinois Eddie Johnson's bio information and a photo linked on the internet, his phone started ringing. I bet it did. You a child rapist? What the fuck, bro?
The bummer is like he was another one of those just like in the fold guys. He wasn't like a superstar. He wasn't an all-star.
Nope.
It's not like there was two Troy Aikmans and one of them's a rapist.
No.
This is just it's just
name
another
is wallpaper too.
Yeah.
It's nothing that sticks in anybody's mind.
Right.
It's
It's as if
Eddie
there was
Johnson.
two Wes Welkers.
Yeah. It's not two Magic Johnsons. It's Eddie Johnson. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
He said, the thing that disappointed me the most is some people who were overzealous enough to think it was me and attack me with ferocity I can't comprehend.
Oh, he better be thankful there was no Twitter.
Fuck yeah. Oh, man. Well, this is 2008, so it's 2006.
It's close.
It's just still MySpace.
Just missed it, yeah.
He said, that's the part that didn't allow me to sleep last night. That's the part that forced me to reach out to as many people as I could and say, shame on you. That's not me. This is Edward Arnett Johnson. Now, not and our guy's Eddie Lee Johnson. They said that he does color commentary. He's doing great. He said, he called me really, this is Charles Barkley. He called me really upset about it. He said, and Eddie said, it's a tough situation. This is Charles about Eddie. It's a tough situation. He was on vacation in Hawaii.
Oh,
he didn't know this was even going on. He gets back, and the first thing he knows, he's dealing with this. He's such a good dude. It's an unfortunate situation.
You guys are riding a horse on a beach.
He's fucking, oh, my God. He's eating pork in the sand.
He's teeing off on a golf course while this guy's raping a child, and then he comes home. Comes home with a lay around his neck, and people are like, yeah, I got laid,
you scumbag, you fucking piece of shit. He's like, what did I do?
Did you entice her with the purple flowers, you piece of garbage?
So what? I didn't like poi. I don't understand what the problem is. What's the issue? Charles Barkley said, I feel bad for Eddie Johnson of Phoenix, and I feel really badly for Eddie Johnson of Auburn because he never got his life together. And they both went to Auburn. So they said when Eddie Johnson of Phoenix was still playing and Eddie Johnson of Auburn was retired and getting into frequent trouble with the law, there was little problem differentiating the two because one was a player and one wasn't. Now they're both retired. He said there'd be a news story about Eddie Johnson, but they knew it wasn't me because I was on the court and in the box score. So you knew it wasn't me. I was playing that night. Now that they're both out of the game, and especially in the off season, he said it's fuck. He said his goal now for the next several days is to get the word out about it's not me.
Gotta get the word out.
He said, quote, my name is everything.
I gotta go tell everybody I don't fuck kids.
I gotta be I'm not a kid fucker. It's the worst thing ever. He said, I don't fault the other Eddie Johnson for having that name. I'd fault him for fucking kids.
I'd fault him for what he does.
Anybody famous with my name, I'm gonna be like, you keep your fucking P's and Q's straight, asshole. Thank fuck there's no more James Pietragallos than anybody, my father, but I don't think he's planning on any public endeavors recent in the
I'm
near
the only
future.
Jimmie Whisman, thank fuck, because I don't need...
We found more Jimmie Whisman. What are you talking about?
With a Y.
With a Y. We found others, though.
There's no Jimmie with an IE, not one.
Leave me some time. I'll find it. Bet there is. He said, I don't fault the other Eddie Johnson for having that name. I think it's a great name.
It used to be.
I think it's a great name. He just doesn't happen to be a great guy.
No, he's not.
No, he doesn't. So November 19th, 2006, Eddie's sitting in jail. And doing his thing in jail. They said no longer number 3 for the Atlanta Hawks. He's now inmate number 0009158. Every newspaper that we've ever had loves to do that. As a habitual felon, he faces life in prison if convicted of charges he sexually assaulted an 8-year-old girl and a 25-year-old woman in separate incidents.
He's facing life?
Life, yeah.
Wow.
Eddie said, quote, I don't blame anybody for what happened to me but myself. Yeah,
good.
Yeah.
Well done.
You don't blame a fucking 8-year-old for you raping her? Weird that you wouldn't.
Or a 6-year-old brother for letting you in?
Yeah. I mean, he locked the door. He said, it's not the money. Oh, he said, I could make excuses, but there's no excuse. It's not the money. People fail to understand when you're involved with the drug culture. It's the hustle that goes along with it. Yeah. Fucking kids is nowhere part of that. Stealing VCRs, all that other shit, I can go, okay, it's drugs, and we can figure it out. But once you're molesting children, there's no... Yeah, you don't get the lifestyle, man.
The hustle, man. It'll force you right into her arms.
So, you know what Omar says? It's all in the game, right?
Yeah.
I think that's what he was talking about, right?
Pushes you right into an 8-year-old's arms.
That's how it happens, man. They talk about him being in a faded red and white jail jumpsuit that hangs loosely.
Yeah, that somebody else used to wear. A whole bunch of someone.
It's an extra large, and he weighs 160 pounds. They say he acknowledges his long rap sheet and persistent drug problems, but denies ever stealing anything despite frequent accusations and being chased down and tackled by a Target security guard. What the fuck are you talking about? He also vigorously denies doing anything inappropriate with the 8-year-old girl and the woman from 2 days earlier. Didn't do it.
Denies it.
Nope, he said didn't do it at all. I don't know. Don't know what you're talking about.
That's fucked up. He's going to make that 8-year-old sit on the stand and tell a court what he
Apparently.
did. That's fucked up, man.
They do her like in chambers usually. They don't make children of that age do it in like open court. Usually,
hope so. Jesus.
That age they take their testimony on camera,
videotape it,
in chambers, and then they play it for the jury. Usually, they keep it from public.
Still, she has to say it.
She has to say it in front of a judge and lawyers. These are grown-ups who aren't their mom.
God,
you know what I mean? That's fucking disturbing. So Johnson spent, this is from this article, Johnson spent much of the money he made in the NBA, but saved some and still receives deferred payments. From what? So you steal a VCR to sell for $20 on the street for crack, and then you're like, my dividends haven't come in this month yet. Are you out of your fucking mind?
Still waiting on my paycheck. So I can't pay this $4,000 bail.
No crackheads have stocks ever left. No. They sold those a long fucking time ago. They don't even have their wedding ring. Never mind stocks. So they said, well, what do you get? How much? And he declined to provide details.
I don't want to say.
No, you know how that is. but wrote in a court affidavit of an indigent status that he made $300 a week. So that's what he's getting, $1,200 a month.
That ain't gonna do it. No.
Yep. He's written his own court motions to dismiss or reduce his bond and persistently tries to represent himself despite having obviously no legal background other than being in a courtroom 100 times
He's
previously.
got a lot of legal background.
He's like, I've seen defense attorneys operate more than anybody. Honestly, I'm an expert
I know how
at
to
this.
file shit.
He is a few dozen credentials short of his college degree. Even few dozen, by the way, credits.
Yeah, a few dozen
Never
credits
came
short
close.
of a college degree and a bar exam short of being a lawyer.
Yeah, a whole bar exam here. He does say that all 3 of his kids have graduated from college. I don't know if that's true or not, but then he says, and he loves saying this phrase, I'm not unintelligent. He loves saying that. He said,
loves that.
I'm not an unintelligent black man. I'm an intelligent black man. I paid my dues for what I've done previously. He says drugs drove him to his previous misdeeds, and now he's happy that he's gotten past his addiction. He's good now. Mm-hmm. Now that he's sitting in jail and can't get crack, he's happy that he's overcome it.
Is he is he trying to garner sympathy with the black man part? Because I've never heard anybody say, I'm not a dumb white guy. I'm a smart white guy. Like,
I'm
what?
a smart
what are you
white
doing?
guy.
Why are you bringing that in?
Or the opposite. They do it like as a joke, like, I'm just a dumb white boy. I don't know shit about nothing.
That.
You
Yeah,
hear people
I've
say
heard
that kind of shit. Yeah, I've heard that before. Johnson says he doesn't keep up with anyone from the league. Yeah, who's going to talk to you?
Right.
What are you up to? Well, I don't know.
Especially
I'm on
now.
vacation with my family. Oh, I just stole a VCR and sold it for $20 to smoke crack tonight. That's they're into different things here.
I'm on my way to a date. Oh, yeah? What's
Oh,
her name?
weird.
I don't know. We're going to watch some Wah Wah Wubsy.
I was going to say, I don't know. I'll open the door and find out. I'll start opening apartment doors and find out.
Yeah.
They said in jail, though, he's still known as Fast Eddie.
Mm-hmm.
He said he reads and writes and plays a lot of basketball, and he's facing life in prison. So,
Jesus.
They said that life in prison would make this his permanent home court jail.
Yeah.
So, October 29th, 2008, he's on trial for this, the sexual assault here. A conviction.
On the woman or the child?
Both.
Oh.
Well, he faces sexual battery on a person under 12, lewd and lascivious molestation. Jesus, that could, if you couldn't make the word molestation worse, they figured out a way.
Yeah.
Add lewd and lascivious in front of it, on charges of a molestation of a person under 12 and burglary of a dwelling with battery. A conviction for any of these crimes could land him in prison for life because he's a habitual. So I think they're doing those two things separately.
Yeah.
Prosecutors allege that he did this on October 8th. The girl was 10 now, testified that Johnson entered through the unlocked door where she and her 3 younger brothers were home alone watching television. And, they said a neighbor that had been tasked with babysitting the kids had stepped outside for a minute. So this person said, I got to go run over here for 5 minutes. And this guy said, oh, cool, and went right in there.
My God.
That's how much of a fucking predator he is, that he was waiting for people to leave. He was probably sitting in the field watching doors for people to leave so he could go break into people's houses, because that's what he does. He breaks into people's shit. So the girl told the assistant state's attorney on direct examination that Johnson followed her to the bedroom, locked the door, then pushed a dresser in front of the door to block any entry by any of the other children. He barricaded this poor child in the room. Oh, man. Yeah, he took her pants off, took his pants off, told her not to tell anybody. I won't get into the details of that. That's fucking gross, and I don't need it. So I don't need nightmares tonight. She then told the court that after they left the bedroom, Johnson began kissing her on the arms and neck in view of her brothers. Ugh. The girl's mother testified that she arrived home to find her daughter curled up in a ball and crying in her brother's room. You know, because she was just attacked by a fucking monster. Right. The mother called the police. The officers arrested him about a block away from the apartment complex. Oh, my God. The court-appointed lawyer for Eddie, because he can't represent himself, told the jurors in his opening statement that Johnson was this family's benefactor, gave them money all the time, and a, quote, big brother figure to the victim's older brother. Whew.
I thought the lawyer was supposed to make it better.
That sounds worse, right?
Yeah, that's not good.
I was just going to say, that sounds worse than a stranger. No, this is someone she trusts. It's better. It's fine.
You understand? He groomed her.
This will only destroy her trust of anybody for the rest of her life, rather than just being afraid of strangers. This will destroy friends, family, intimate relationships of any kind. Really fuck them up good. We feel like this is perfect,
especially any guy. I mean, men in her life, it's over for them.
That's what I mean. Yeah, fucked it all up. Everything.
Trusting nobody.
Not going to trust anybody. Fucking Jesus Christ. Even her family, she's not going to trust here. Benefactor Big Brother also told the jury that the accusations were plainly false and said that no DNA or other physical evidence links Eddie to any sexual act.
What?
I
didn't do it because you have no DNA.
What about 4 kids? They just made it up. Let's make up, 4 kids that don't know anything about sex because they're under 8. Let's make up that some guy from the neighborhood came in that we see and just raped us. That's normal, right? The kids do that all the time.
Yeah.
So Johnson sat there, and they said that there was a brief hiccup in the proceedings when the victim's mother entered the courtroom and took the stand. 2 female jurors immediately raised their hands to say, I know her.
Oh, no.
Not good. Can't have that.
No.
So one juror said that she told the judge that she lives across the street from her and knows the mother to have a bad drug habit because the juror knows this from her own past drug use.
I have a drug problem, and I used to do drugs with her.
We're all crackheads in the same neighborhood.
Yeah. Oh,
so,
my God.
I mean, that is a jury of your peers. I will say that.
That's
his jury. Yeah. They're from the block and they do the same.
Yeah.
No one gets it more than them, but I don't think
everybody from around the way. Is there nobody else that'll be a juror? What's going on? How do they do this?
You can't find 12 fucking people in the state of Florida that don't have a crack problem to be on a fucking jury. That's where we're at now, Florida. You don't have 12 clean people in the whole state. Holy shit. That is amazing. Not only that, she's from the same, lives across the street from these people.
Across the street. Did drugs with her.
Eddie, too. Yeah. I've seen Eddie around the neighborhood, too.
Did they just go to a crack party and just be like, can all of you please be on a jury?
All of you. Anybody? Hey, guys, you know what we'll do tomorrow? You know what they pay? $12 a day. Anybody up for it? Yeah.
2 days and you'll get a rock.
So the prosecutor requests to strike that juror and replace her with an alternate. Obviously, you can't have a neighborhood crackhead on the jury.
No.
The judge says, no, she's good. Keep her.
That'll do.
That'll do. No, she's all right. I don't want to get
Sounds
into
like she's familiar.
She knows. She knows what's up. That's insane. They talk about in court, obviously, his extensive criminal record and, he's been arrested, they said, since he's retired and moved back to Ocala. He's been arrested almost 30 times in Marion County.
Good Christ.
30. Think about that.
30.
Do you know, I can gather most of my friends, and some of them are shitheads that have had bad.
Yeah.
And I can't gather 30 arrests between them. 30 is a lot of arrests. Wow.
Oh, man.
He had recently been released from prison before these charges happened. Yeah. So, he's still, in court here. Then the jury comes in, including fucking juror crackhead number 4 over here.
Yeah.
And he is the 2 days of testimony and argument. The goes to the jury at 2:15 in the afternoon. By 3:45, they have a verdict.
Really?
Yeah. They believe this kid, I think, is what's going on. Or they don't at all believe the kid.
You said like an hour and a half, right?
An hour and a half. Yeah. That's fast.
Fast.
Real fast. Fast like Eddie.
Yes.
On coke.
Right now.
Right fucking now. An hour and a half is the forms to fill out. That's all it is.
That's so quick.
That's so one vote and filling out the forms. So he is at the defense table, and they came out and said, guilty of all this shit.
Okay.
Yeah, fucking guilty. So in closing arguments, the lawyers urged the jurors to use their common sense. And both lawyers said that. Use your common sense. And they did. So the assistant state attorney said, imagine how painful it would be to cause this, and held up. Oh, my God. Jesus H. Christ. This is, we definitely didn't talk about this on the first run through this. So the prosecutor held up to the jury, and this is right before this is why I think deliberations were so quick, a photograph of the 8-year-old girl's swollen genital area taken during a medical examination several days after the rape.
What?
I'm sorry. Serving on a jury is one thing. I will serve. I'll do whatever I got to do, but I'm not looking at pictures of 8-year-old girls' fucking genitalia of any kind. Never mind swollen and medical.
Especially battered. Yeah.
Oh, my God. How fucking horrifying. I would have left. I'm sorry. I'm done. I'm sorry. You can't make me look at this. You can't.
You can just show it. You should be arrested for showing me that.
Some doctor got down and took a picture
illegal.
of it. That's
destroy
crazy.
that photo right
Fuck
now.
yeah. That's somewhere in files somewhere.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Jesus, I'm disgusted. So then
even medical science reasons. No, don't take.
I don't want.
Look at it. Describe it to us. Don't take a picture of it.
We don't need to have pictures of 8-year-old girls' genitalia ever.
We don't need to waste Kodak film on that. Stop it.
That is gross. They could have even said we would have pictures, but that would be super weird to take pictures of an 8-year-old's genitalia, right? And the jury would be nodding like, yeah, totally. That would be super fucking weird. Please don't show us that.
We'd love to show you the damage, but we felt that was above and beyond our scope with the camera.
And if you gave the jury like a vote, can we just stipulate there's a picture here? They go, yeah, let's just say it. There's a picture. We get it. You have a picture. We believe you.
Don't you dare. If you don't believe it, we'll show you the picture. I believe it.
I fucking believe it, okay? To put it down, please. Put it back in the folder.
It would be weird for us to show that, right?
Right? Couldn't that be weird? And the jurors would be like, yes. Very thankful you didn't show us that. And I don't even know if you're Eddie Johnson's attorney, who would you even choose? Because there's normally like strategies of who you choose for a juror.
Yeah.
Who would you even look for?
No. Can we go to death row and find child rapists?
Well, I mean, yeah.
All of them.
Who are you looking? You don't want women on the jury, obviously. You don't want men either.
You don't want
the
parents.
men want to fucking beat us to death, probably.
Yeah, you want people that hate children.
Yeah, maybe like an old person who has been bothered by children for years and hates them. That's the only
or
people I can think of.
A guy that only has nieces and nephews and dreads the day his family calls him to ask to babysit.
Yeah. But
guy.
Even still, he has no sexual attraction to these kids. And he's like, if somebody raped one of these kids, I'd kill him. That's what the guy would say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Fuck, it's hard. So the prosecutor holds up the picture, makes the jurors look at it, and points to Eddie Johnson and said, it was force caused by that man.
God damn it.
So
he did this.
He's lucky the jurors found him guilty and didn't lynch him right there in the fucking room and start tearing him limb from limb apart, just fucking
How
ripping
do you not
him.
want to tar and feather that man.
That's what I mean, ripping his arms off and beating them with him. Like, that's just... What a monster. So the defense attorney said there's not sufficient evidence to convict him of these crimes. He said, this is a case where physical evidence should exist, pointing out the lack of DNA evidence in the girl's bedroom where this took place. So he said, this is ridiculous. No, this never happened. And apparently, yeah. So here comes sentencing. Comes around. And, oh boy, here we go. You, sir, may fuck off. Mandatory life sentence.
Without.
Found as a habitual offender. Life without, fuck off Eddie Johnson.
Wow.
51 in jail for the rest of his fucking life.
Played for the Sonics.
Played for the Sonics. Now
51.
He's fucked. 50 fucking 1.
Oh my God, he has so much time to go.
He has so much time. He's so fucked. And now he's sitting in, as they described, a spiritless gray cell.
Right.
That's what he gets to sit in from now on.
Not even a soul in there.
Nothing. I mean, it was spiritless. But, you know, Eddie's not used to that.
No.
Eddie's used to, you know, he liked the fancy life they talked about. He liked expensive dinners. He liked nice furniture. He liked things like that. He likes his environment to have some spirit.
Sure.
So he calls the only person that can help him in this situation. It's Dexter Manley, interior designer from New York City. And he says, how is it you've come to arrive here? Holy fucking shit, man. Like, you're white trash, sir. I'm sorry. This is the trashiest thing you've ever done. I've never heard of trash like this. You know these people and you did it? Like, it's bad if, like, you didn't know them. That's like, oh, a stranger and you're raping. Ew, gross. This is like, this is extra gross. This is let me in there. Vince, I'm telling you don't want this one. Vince.
No.
Vince, he's gross. He's gross. He's all cracky, too. He has no, like...
Disgusting.
In overalls, not good. I want to see him on him. Tell him to take a Vince, I'm telling you, Vince, it's enough. Do you know what he did? Hold on. Eddie, you stay here 1 second. I'm going to go. I got to talk to Vince for 1 minute.
I think he's going to do it.
You know what he did? Oh, my God. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, Mike. Never mind. I poop on people, and that's disgusting. I can't. I'm out. Never mind. Me too. I'm not. Enjoy your spiritless grayness here.
Eddie was taking his pants off. Shit.
He was like, "Oh shit, I'm gonna get ready." Poof, and he's gone. In a puff of boas and feathers, he's gone. And Eddie's very confused, and he's going to remain confused. Not as confused though as these people that we're about to talk about. These Eddie Johnsons. One, and we talked about him on the first one, Eddie Johnson was a linebacker for the Cleveland Browns. So he played for a Cleveland team, which is not good. And he is a member. He played from 81 to 90. He was a linebacker, and he's a member of the Cleveland Browns Legends ring.
Really?
Yeah, so he's like, his name's
one of their
up.
favorites. Yeah.
His name's up at the stadium.
Jim
somewhere.
Brown.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Eddie J. Johnson. There, that's the I believe that's the linebacker. Yeah, for Cleveland, and he played for Louisville. He was known as the assassin during his time in there, which is better than being known as the child rapist.
The rapist,
much fucking better.
Child rapist,
crackheaded child rapist. He did have problems of himself though. His own. He was sentenced to 12 months of probation and 200 hours of community service in 1995. For harboring his half-brother who was a fugitive felon. But, I mean, that's I would harbor my brother, too. That's your brother. Yeah, you got to harbor family. That's how it works. Also, Eddie Johnson, Vice President of Customer Experience, Vice President of Customer Support, Vice President of Operations for, looks like the Zero Fox Company. I don't know what that is. No idea. He went to the University of Maryland, Baltimore, that guy. Also, Eddie Johnson, owner of Life Tech for You. Some other guy here in Dallas, Texas. Eddie Johnson, investor, owner, designer at Verdor Watches, applied jewelry professional in New York City.
Okay.
My God. Then, fuck me. Here's an article about Cindy Holman to marry Eddie Johnson. Some poor guy who's getting married.
Don't do it.
Cindy, please stop, Cindy. He's some blonde guy, too. Then here is October 1987. Eddie Johnson, a triple murderer.
Oh, shit. That poor bastard.
Aransas Pass here. Eddie James Johnson, charged with capital murder in connection with a triple slaying, will remain in jail without bond. Let's hope so. Yeah. Holy fucking shit. He shot, let's see, shot a 10-year-old. That's nice. So he murdered a 10-year-old. At least he kept his dick in his pants, though.
Yeah,
in his defense.
Didn't hurt.
Dick firmly in his pants.
Didn't give him lifelong trauma.
Nope. I'd still rather have my kids around this guy, probably.
Yeah. If given the choice, I'd rather be murdered than raped. I can't tell you. I can't side with it more.
Especially as an 8-year-old, again, with an adult. That's fucking crazy here.
Yeah.
Also here, Eddie Johnson, who appears to be a musician because the American Polish Club in Florida has an Eddie Johnson playing music in multiple different nights. The old-fashioned Sunday Polish family picnic. He's playing
several gigs the whole weekend.
Several gigs here, absolutely. Also, another one.
Lee's so many.
McRae head men's basketball coach Keith Walker announced that freshman Eddie Johnson, a former standout at Statesville High, was recently named Bobcats Player of the Week. Eddie T. Johnson, we'll talk about him for a second, a retired Chicago police officer. He was the 62nd superintendent of the Chicago Police Department from March 2016 until December 2019. We'll find. I'll talk about that with you. Oh. Then there's also a soccer player named Eddie Johnson, who's a popular soccer player. And then, of course, the most disgraced, poor Eddie Johnson, the basketball player, who is 4 years younger than our Eddie.
Oh, God, it's too much.
It's too much. Drafted in 81. It's all right there. He was Sixth Man of the Year in 89.
Yeah, for the Sonics, right?
For, I guess, the Sonics. I know 89, he was with the Suns. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Sixth Man of the Year for the Suns there. Unbelievable there. That's Eddie Arnett Johnson. Speaking of Eddie, 2014, the other Eddie Johnson, the good Eddie, Eddie sues the Chicago Tribune in 2014.
Really?
This is 8 years later. Yes, I guess it identified him. The Tribune adapted the story from another story that had been published a day earlier by the Associated Press. That story, titled Ex-NBA Star Johnson Accused in Sex Rap, had a dateline of Ocala, Florida, and was placed on the wire at 11:42 p.m. It began with the lead paragraph: former NBA All-Star Eddie Johnson has been arrested and charged with sexually assaulting an 8-year-old girl, authorities said Tuesday night. The 10-paragraph article noted Johnson had numerous prior convictions. The 10th and final paragraph indicated that Johnson, a 6'2" guard from Auburn University, played in the NBA from 77 to 87 with all the teams, represented the Hawks in the All-Star game, all that. The editors on duty that night at the Tribune scanned the first few paragraphs of the story.
No.
They didn't read till the end.
Oh, no.
And since they're in Chicago, that's the first Eddie Johnson that popped up in their mind was the one that's from here. So they read the first few paragraphs and adapted the piece for its daily feature entitled Press Box, whereby the editors on duty would review incoming articles and digest them into short news reports to summarize news stories of note. The deadline for closing the print edition was 12:30 a.m., so there wasn't a lot of time. It's less than an hour.
An hour. Yeah.
One of the editor's colleagues saw the AP article and told one of the other writers that there was a story about Eddie Johnson and that Johnson played for the University of Illinois.
Uh-huh.
Shapiro, the one guy, clicked on the link and read the first 3 or 4 paragraphs of the story, determined that the story was newsworthy, performed a cut and paste of the portion of the article he felt was pertinent.
Jerk off.
In this case, it's the first 2 paragraphs, which they talk about. That's the inverted pyramid is how they do their thing, basically. They start out, or the pyramid, inverted pyramid. So you start out
and then wrap it up.
Which is the most fucking annoying thing in the world.
And it's the laziest fucking journalism.
It's so you see that, am I interested in this article from the first paragraph, and then I'll read the details. I get what they're doing, but it's fucking annoying.
It's lazy. Fucking tell your story.
And especially it's lazy and it's annoying from our purposes because I have to move all this shit around to make it make sense in a chronological fashion. So it bothers the fuck out of me. God damn it. It's the bane of my existence. I swear to Christ.
Well, it's human nature that makes them have to write that because we're lazy. It's not just them either. We're lazy and we're like, this is boring. This is stupid. And we move on to the next article.
Yeah.
If it's not fucking, if it doesn't grab the reader, then they'll fucking walk away from it.
We're giving you the meat in the first article. If that doesn't grab you, nothing will. You don't need to read everything to get to that. Well, this guy here, Shapiro also drafted the caption, former NBA Illini star accused of sexual assault.
Asshole.
And added the word Illinois to the first paragraph of the article to make it local so people would be interested in it. The editor was unaware that there were 2 Eddie Johnsons who played in the fucking NBA. One with a clean image and one with not.
Yeah.
So Daniel McGrath, associate managing editor for sports, the top supervisor for the sports department, stated this was typically all that was necessary and relevant for the purposes of adding a story to the press box section. McGrath explained that the AP stories typically follow the inverted pyramid or AP style, where all essential information is given, is contained within the first top 2 or 3 paragraphs. Given the volume of material that the Wire editor must review, this guy said that it was not always practical or possible to read the entire article. Well, you know what? Maybe you should, and this is why. So they said on the morning of August 9th, McGrath identified the error in the press box section by reading the paper and by an email sent to him from a reader. Yeah. So McGrath believed that there was an error because the AP story was from Florida and that the Eddie Johnson he knew was from Illinois and lived in Phoenix, and he knew there was an age discrepancy. So he contacted the sports editor, asked him to check the story, And then they corrected it. They posted a correction. But that's like 2 days after the Chicago Tribune said you're a child rapist.
Right.
So McGrath took a call from Good Eddie Johnson's marketing representative, his PR person, and then from Eddie himself called.
Yeah.
McGrath informed them that he was aware that the plaintiff was misidentified, Good Eddie, and that the Tribune was investigating the issue and determining the best steps to set the record straight and rectify it. McGrath apologized and informed Eddie that they were heartsick over this very serious issue.
Sorry we called you a child molester.
So sorry. We said you're the worst person alive. The next day, they not only published a retraction and an apology, they entitled it An Apology to Chicago's Eddie Johnson, written by the editor himself. Mm-hmm. It's a 13-paragraph article prominently placed on page 2 of the sports section. That's not good enough.
Nope. Front page, babe.
Front page of news. We fucked up we called the guy a child rapist yesterday. Fix that shit.
We understand if you never read our fucking newspaper ever again.
Holy shit. Especially Eddie Johnson. He's got beef. So they said also they highlighted his Good Eddie's distinguished career, many charity and community accomplishments. They started the article by noting that haste to make deadline is no excuse for putting incorrect information in a newspaper, and included several facts that were tip-offs or red flags in the story that made the error even more embarrassing. They noted that it was Florida. They knew he lived in Phoenix. It didn't make sense. So Eddie Johnson, Good Eddie, testified he was in Hawaii on vacation with his family when it was published, and but he received several calls, emails, and complaints regarding it. And he said that he's long dealt with the issue, as the other Eddie Johnson has repeated troubles with the law, but never to this extent. He said it's only been a nuisance. This is a hindrance.
They called me a crackhead, not a child rapist.
That's fine. So as far as as Good Eddie was concerned, the damage was done. So he filed a libel complaint with 3 counts sounding in negligence, false light, and defamation. And on appeal, they said they ended up dismissing it. So Good Eddie appeals and argued that the circuit court erred in finding that he failed to present a genuine issue of material fact, and argued that there's evidence of record from which a jury could find that the Tribune acted with actual malice and reckless disregard for the truth. I don't think actual malice is true. I think reckless disregard is serious. You fucked up bad with somebody here. That's a lot. So they said actual malice is not demonstrated through a showing of ill will or malice or motivation simply for profits, but with a reckless disregard for truth that includes a high degree of awareness of probable falsity, or that the defendant had serious doubts as to the truth of the statement. But they didn't have serious doubts. They just thought it was true. Anyway, so they said the plaintiff failed to present clear and convincing evidence that the defendant's employees seriously doubted the truth of the article before it was published. That's what I mean. I don't think they did either. I think they thought it was fucking true. So they said the Tribune's malfeasance and nonfeasance do not rise to the level of malice necessary to create a genuine issue of material fact that would warrant reversal of a motion for summary judgment on a claim of defamatory damages. So this Eddie can't get more fucked over.
They didn't. They fucking dismissed it.
They dismissed it, and then he appealed, and they dismissed it again.
Oh, my God.
Now, let's talk about that other Eddie Johnson, Chicago Police Department Eddie Johnson.
The guy that was superintendent?
Yeah, he had some issues is why he left.
He only did it for 3 years.
Yep. In 2024, a federal judge threw out a lawsuit that accused him of sexually assaulting a female officer. This name is a curse. God. It's fucking, Cynthia Donald had been a member of Eddie Johnson's security detail when she said that he assaulted her multiple times over several years.
Yeah.
Also, the suit also alleges that Johnson suppressed evidence. They said, Eddie Johnson repeatedly abused and harassed me and made it clear I had to follow his orders, which included unwanted sexual activity in order to keep my job. The Chicago Police Department and City of Chicago need to be held accountable for what happened to me and what is likely happening to other female officers. Mm-hmm. Apparently, this happened... I guess they said that he in 2019, I guess this is right before he quit, the police supervisor, Johnson here, the superintendent, was found slumped over the wheel of his SUV, and he later admitted to having drinks with this Donald earlier in the night.
Yikes.
So not good. A federal judge tossed all claims in the case, citing the sexual relationship between Johnson and Donald was consensual, Explicit text messages, which showed Donald telling Johnson that she loved him, in addition to photos, led to the decision.
Oh, no.
They said, though Donald presented some evidence that could be construed as signals to Johnson that his conduct was unwelcome, it's overwhelmed by evidence to the contrary.
Don't fuck your coworkers.
Don't fuck your fucking subordinates especially. Yeah. Christ almighty, if you're both equal, whatever. And that's how people meet for the most part. But don't fuck your subordinates.
Don't fuck your coworkers.
Most adults, before apps especially, they met people at work.
Yeah. Unless you work at a restaurant, don't fuck your coworkers.
Yeah. If you work at a restaurant, none of it matters anyway. Just fuck each other. It's 2 a.m. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. So Donald told the judge she was intimidated by Johnson and sought to appease him to avoid harm and keep her job. Anyway, October 26th, 2020, Fast Eddie Johnson is dead.
What?
Bad Eddie is dead. Bad Eddie is dead Ed now.
Well,
dead Eddie.
We didn't talk about that because he wasn't dead yet.
Wasn't dead yet. No, he was still in prison the first time. Yep, he passed away. His death was confirmed by the mortuary in Florida. Who I guess is, we have his corpse here, so we know he's dead.
Here he is.
Yep. So he is 65 years old. He'll be buried at the Weirsdale Community Cemetery, so back home there. So we don't get a cause of death on Fast Eddie. I assume it's brain sludge from being pure evil, I assume, is what ate him alive, possibly.
67? 68?
65.
65. Ooh.
65, a life of coke.
That's young in prison, though.
That is young, but, he can't his body can't be in good shape after doing drugs for that long.
He only did 16 years on child rape.
On child rape. He got away with it. He snuck out through the back door, you could say.
Yeah.
November 4th, 2020. So this is directly after that here, which is fucking hilarious. Like the next week. azcentral.com, which is Arizona's news
the newspaper
there.
Channel 3's
yeah. It says, even in death, Fast Eddie Johnson gets mixed up with our Eddie Johnson.
Oh, no!
Who is fine.
They thought he died, too?
It's so funny. The best thing about basketball is the unexpected lessons it can teach. Like this one, slow down. It comes in the context of Fast Eddie Johnson getting mixed up with our Eddie Johnson again. Our Eddie Johnson played for the Suns and Sonics. Fast Eddie Johnson played for the Hawks and Sonics. They both could fill it up when they got cooking, but that's pretty much where it stops. Fast Eddie had some serious legal problems and died in prison last month. He was 65. Our Eddie's been doing great, hosting a radio show and calling it like he sees it on Suns broadcasts. He was alive and well when someone sent him Fast Eddie's obituary with our Eddie's photo.
Oh, what?
That. Yep, it was all over the place. People are and the obituary people don't know shit about sports, so they just look up Eddie Johnson basketball, and that's the first guy that comes up because he's more famous. Boom. You can imagine how that went over, but our Eddie handled it the way he usually handles things, smoothly, like a jump shot that floats through nothing but net.
Oh, my God.
It was just a continuation of mix-ups that come just because somebody has the same name, our Eddie Johnson said. Part of why it wasn't a big deal was because it wasn't the first time it happened. A few years ago it happened when he actually got arrested, our Eddie said. They put out stories all over the country saying it was me. I fucking sued for it, as a matter of fact.
And it was dismissed. I didn't see my face attached to a cop that fucking had sex with subordinates.
None of that. Yeah,
it's not just because of his name. They did just because of his name. Fuck you. That's not
Stop
why.
Stop being lazy. Yeah, you lazy fucks. That's what's going on.
Because of a black guy that played basketball. Say it, you racist fucks.
Say it. I think basketball is probably a big part of it.
Yeah, it's the basketball. And the Sonics.
And the
Sonics. Played for the same
that,
team.
That hurts, man.
Yeah.
They said he didn't get mad. He just took the issue to court to clear his name. But the lesson is clear for journalists and everybody else, but mostly journalists. Please do their research, our Eddie Johnson said. That's the history major in me. I was graded to the max taking tests. You know, if you take a history class, you're not taking too many multiple choice tests. You're writing essays. So you learn that you can't do silly stuff. You really have to be cognizant of your work, especially in a situation like that. Somebody's lost their life and now you're going to apply a picture. You have to make sure it's the right picture.
I'm not an unintelligent man.
I'm not an unintelligent black man. He said, I think our world right now, man, we're in such a hurry because of the competitiveness, especially in the news business, where I want to get the story out first. A lot of times they make mistakes. And the newspaper said, "It's true we do. Hell, I've made mistakes. There's no doubt about it. I'll make more. It's a part of life. Thank goodness that this instance wasn't a huge deal. No one in our Eddie's family saw the story and thought it was him. Hey, are you dead, Dad? Oh, okay, good." It's easier to know that he's dead than arrested. He said,
like when he shows up to his job and they're like, "We thought you died."
Oh, shit, what are you doing here? He reached out to the AP, the organization that made the error. It was the fucking Associated Press. It wasn't even like some local Florida newspaper. The Ocala Times can fuck that up.
Is it always somebody that's got like a Pulitzer or something?
Yeah. People that can do better. They have the resources to do better. And they said that Eddie asked him to correct it, and they did. They said the story's being retransmitted to note that the photo of former Suns player Eddie Johnson that was erroneously linked to the story previously has been deleted. The photo should have been a former Hawks player, Eddie Johnson. Okay. Holy shit. Our Eddie has kept things low-key. He didn't even talk to his wife about it Tuesday night. He waited until it was resolved to tell her what happened. Hey, baby, they think I'm dead. The unfortunate...
Fuckers.
The unfortunate thing is that for those of us with common names, this sort of thing is bound to come up. I've never had this problem once.
No.
In my entire life.
No.
For me, there's Greg Moore, who used to run the Denver Post, a Greg Moore who used to drive IndyCar, a Greg Moore who runs the Southern Intercollegiate Athletic Conference, and a Greg Moore who played in the NHL. I've got a buddy in the news business named Stanley Roberts. He isn't the center who played at LSU. Okay. Heaven help the Ed Smiths of the world. Our Eddie doesn't have much advice for the matter. It's hard, isn't it? Our Eddie Johnson said. For me, I don't see any way out of it. There are thousands of Eddie Johnsons. If you look up Eddie Johnson, you'll see thousands. Holy fuck, is he right? Trust me. As both me and my cousin Ian can attest to, fucking A, is he right. He said, I have a unique middle name. I'm not going to use it. I don't know what my mom was thinking about when she gave me that middle name, so I'm not going to use it. And then they said, it's Arnett. So he said, I'm not going to use it. The paper said, we'll go ahead and put it in for you.
Don't worry. We got this, Eddie.
Oh, my God. Our Eddie Arnett Johnson, he asked his mother where she got it. She doesn't even know, our Eddie said. I was one of 7 kids. She was probably like, I'm going to be creative for this one. She had a right to be creative. She had to carry me. Uh-huh. So anyway, Eddie said it's a good and bad thing. He said maybe there's a silver lining. He said it's a good and bad thing. The bad thing is you don't want it to happen. The good thing is, well, they were wrong this time. Like, I'm not dead, again, I guess. Yeah. That's the way I look at it. So can't get enough of Fast Eddie? Well, you can get a Fast Eddie Johnson signed. I don't want anything that his DNA is touched.
No.
Nothing. No. I don't want his signature. Signed 1981-82 Topps card for $39.95. Then I want this one for the studio.
Yeah.
The Fast Eddie Johnson 1978 basketball card. It's his rookie card. It's a 1978 rookie card. It is $2.99. $2.99. You know, because he's a rapist and all.
The very first card that's ever been made of him as a professional athlete, $2.99.
Yep. I want it bad. I'm going to get that.
You can't buy much for that anymore.
No, you really can't. You can't even get Patreon, which is only $5 a month for us. Yes, as we'll get into. If you like that story, all 3 parts of it, tell everyone about it. Get on whatever app you're on and tell the world about it, please. Give 5 stars, say something nice, and also subscribe to Patreon.
Sure.
Like we said, anybody $5 a month or above, you're going to get way more than that. You are going to get hundreds of back episodes of Crime and Sports and Small Town Murder you've never heard. Not episodes regular, bonus episodes.
You bet.
Good shit. You've never heard them. And then new ones every other week. 1 Crime and Sports, 1 Small Town Murder. You're going to get every damn bit of it. Mm-hmm. All of it for the low, low price of only $5 a month.
There you go.
And this week, what you're going to get for Crime and Sports, we're going to talk about, in honor of the 4th of July, fireworks accidents, which are fun.
Yeah.
They're fun. It's a lot like industrial accidents, except with more colors. Yay.
Well, there's a celebration.
Except, yeah, it started out as a celebration. At least the industrial accidents started out as a day at work.
Yeah.
These started out, there's hot dogs cooking on the grill while people are blown apart.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Somebody's got a belly full of bush light.
We'll talk all about that. That's probably why they're having accidents. We'll talk about that then. For Small Town Murder, we got some more crazy stuff here. We are going to talk about the real Tombstone. We'll talk about what went on, mainly the real Wyatt Earp, the real Cowboys, the real Doc Holliday, and kind of how that all actually played out. The movie, the middle of it is strikingly accurate, but the beginning and end are a little loopy. So we'll get into all of that. You know, you got to have a dramatic some dramatic license. And they were like, fuck it. It happened 120 years ago. What the hell do these people know? Dead. Yeah, they don't know. They're dead as fuck. So there's that. Check that out this week and keep listening to those. Patreon.com/Crime and Sports. Also follow us on social media at Crime and Sports. Yeah. And if you do follow on Patreon, if you do subscribe, what you're going to get is right now, you're going to get a shout out. Jimmie, hit me with the names of the people who would never, ever, ever come into our houses uninvited and have sex with our children. Please, Jimmie, hit me with them right fucking now.
This week's executive producers are Gary Howard, about to be a grandfather. Look at that.
Hey,
this
congrats,
guy
Gar. Thanks, brother.
As a kid, old enough to have a kid
doing
and
that
stuff. Good for you.
Congrats for you.
Yeah. Tarnia Goodsell and Rob Wilson's 30th anniversary. Congratulations.
Wow,
that's
not
fun.
bad. You made it,
S.J.
folks.
Surridge. Thank you so much, Sarah.
Thank you.
It's so nice to have you. Bridget Burns. Bridget Burns. Thank you so much. She just found the podcast.
Oh, well.
Got to thank her. That's very nice of her.
She
She sent money because she wanted to thank us, so we'll thank her.
Well,
Other producers this week are Liz Vasquez, Peyton Meadows, Jarrett Watts, and his turd daughter, Mara.
I love that. That's good. I love picking on your kids. That's fun.
Janice Hill, Eddie Fox, Z Freelance, Rhonda Morris, Kara Hyman. Hyman.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
us.
Patty Simpson. Sharon with no last name. Anya Naraka. Aaron Moore. Dana McCall. Daniel Carlson.
Tempting us to make a joke, by the way, not to get some kind of weird...
Yeah.
You get it.
Yeah. John Bridgman, Dallas Roberts, Lori Keel, Evan Thomas, Mike with no last name, Zachary Ferrari. I don't think that's right. That's got to be.
Cool. I'm Zach Ferrari. Nice to meet you.
I think that's an autocorrect. Hank Jenkins, Hannah Bishop, Bailey Nelson, Madison Goodrich, Danny Tromboli, Ortega, Butch H., Brooke Flowers. Oh, did I say Brooke or Butch? I said Butch, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Butch and Brooke are right next to each other, so it fucks my brain up.
Happens.
Ryan Savino, Daniel with no last name, Anne-Marie Miller, Sam with no last name, Julie K., Elsa Heglin, Pope Francis. I doubt it, but that would be fucking
great.
amazing.
Let's get some of that Vatican money. Fucking hand it over.
Send me some of your water. I want to gargle it. Well, that sounded all right. Emily Stimbarsky, Peggy Slamp, Blakely Tatuska, Frank Blank, Elsie Ibarra, Stephanie Taylor, A Work in Progress. Oh, that's a wrestling podcast. Do you get it?
Oh,
do you see the play on
yes.
words? Yeah, it's not bad.
They're working it. They're working it.
Michael Martin, Hayden Lucas, George with no last name, Sarah Hullum Sullivan, Lori Quinters, Sue with no last name, Brad Anderson, Ryan Thomas, Mikey with no last name, Megan T., Brian Odell, Julie Reidsma, Deborah Waddell, Tracy with no last name, Mama Shark, David Bailey, Charles Breen, Shayna Kilby, yes, EMS Rusty, John Glover, Mary Porter, Ree with no last name, maybe Ray, I don't know, I'm not sure, it could be a Drummond, Ozzy Mozzie.
No.
She is the 28th largest landholder.
We figured it out one time, the exact percentage of Oklahoma she owned.
It's too much.
It's like 3% of Oklahoma or some crazy shit.
It should be illegal. It's
a lot.
And I've heard of how she got it. Cindy Love, AGB, Valerie Bilgery, Luke Gilson, Christy McCaskill maybe, Heather Heine, could be Heine. Livy Talon, David with no last name, Lisa Marie, D.A. Swift Studio, Logan Tasha Nanababa. All right. Nan Baba. Tasha Nanbaba. Okay. Kate, I spent way too long trying to figure that one out. Kate Worry, Cassandra Sheely, Austin Byers, Carl, Carrie Tujdowski, Taylor Greer Philip Bear. What? Greer Philip Bear. I think Philip Bear is another person. Claire Marks, James Walsh, Victoria Olson, Christina De La Luz, Michael Collier, Tara O, Kalita Riley, Ian Holt, Ryan with no last name, Nolan Hildebrand, Brendan Paramus, Courtney Phelps, Sue DP, Taylor with no last name, Lori Coble, Shelley Bazy maybe, the letter C, Moore, last name Moore, Stephanie with no last name, Rebecca Mueller, Caroline Jennings, Andrea Smith, Ace Flacco, Lindsay Wharton, Christian Albrecht, Ian Wright, Ian Wright, IAIN. Is that Ian? What is that?
Yeah, that's English Ian, British
Holy
Ian.
fuck, Ian. That's crazy.
In the UK, they add an extra letter to confuse us Yanks.
Breaks my fucking... All right. Evelyn Patch, Lauren Dill, John Helms, Jacob Keefe, Joseph Balk, Matt Johnson, Mary with no last name, Caroline McKinney, Kendra Taylor, Tracy Hinton, Chase Bessenot, Gina, Crystal Bart, Crystal, like the booze, Katie Hubbard, Clips album. What is this? Catherine Carlson, Otter Leonard, 23 Bosworth, 1. What the fuck is that? Is that a fucking
sounds
CB
like
handle?
Sounds like a password that's given you automatically generated.
Otter Leonard, 23. Luciana, Ginyard, W. Elizabeth Scheidegg, Eric Brooke, what is Eric Brown, and then Brooke Primley, Kelly Lind, Kimberly Dart, Matthew Clark, Len Nicolosi, Heather M., Jeff Jetty, Trent Arnold, Adam Rosenall, Garrett Godin, Heather Hayes Kitts, Erica G., Tara Evans, KB Lovelock, Megan Byram, Lindsay Ellis, Jeffrey with no last name, Julie Brooks, Cassandra Felker, Holly Chai, maybe Shy, B and P, the letters B and P, brought to you by them. Chelsea Seaton, Austin Letterly, Devin Kindle, Kimberly Thompson, Sean Tyler, Jesse Conrad, Mandy Harris, Amber Boatwright, Dow with no last name, Deb with no last name, Ryan Schroeder, maybe Schrader, Christina Tram, Madison Gavin, Michelle Jones, Lori White, Angel Ledford, Bailey Ashley, Eric Garver, and all of our patrons. You're fucking incredible.
Thank you, everybody. You're wonderful, wonderful human beings. We love you crazy bastards the most. Thank you. Yeah. Fuck yeah. Thank you for hanging out with us. Yeah. Thank you for listeing to 3 Parts of Eddie Johnson.
Yeah. And thanks for subscribing to Patreon. I've heard hard sells on that stuff. You guys snatch it up and we don't fucking push it on. You guys are amazing at
we jokingly go, it's for the low price. It's just... We give you content and you guys come and get it.
And we can't thank you enough.
Thank you. And we'll always keep it at $5. Yeah. And
we are the Arizona Iced Tea of Patreon.
That's it. We want to keep it. Well, it doesn't fucking cost us more to make it, so why the fuck should we charge you more? Yeah. It's not like, our studio fees went up. We own our studios, so it's not like it's stupid. It'd be so dumb to fucking charge you more. The costs have gone up. No, they haven't.
Not that much.
We own our microphones. We own everything already. It's already been sunk. So
everything's fine.
Thank you for hanging with us, and thank you for doing that. And thank you for telling your friends. Please, if you love the show, tell everybody you know about it, because not everybody knows about it. And
they don't.
Fuck, even though we've been around for a few years, and it seems like we're pretty popular. People know us. Not everybody does, and you could always use a boost. So keep hanging with us. Keep coming back over and over. You want to follow us on social media, head over to shutupandgivememurder.com and check the drop-down menu. Do that, and we'll be back next week live from the Crime and Sports Studios. We will see you next week.
Bye.
If you like crime and sports, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
Have you ever gotten a message out of the blue? Maybe you ignore them. Or maybe you end up in conversation. Maybe they tell you about an amazing offer.
I can really show you how to make some money.
And maybe that gets you into a lot of trouble. But this isn't a story about people like you, the people receiving these messages. This is a story about the people behind the messages, on the other end of the line. Thousands of them, working in a microcity built for scammers. From Wondery, the makers of Dr. Death and Kill List, comes Scam Factory, a new series about survival at the expense of others. Follow Scam Factory on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Scam Factory early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts.